Headlines burning, chaos on the feed. Woke mob shouting what we're allowed to read. Aliens landing while the pundits cry. Hollywood melting while the markets fly. Anthony! The Conqueror!
Welcome to the next episode of Anthony Conquers UFOs, episode 2. I've decided to do another episode on this quite quickly because there are a lot of sightings at the moment. Now, a lot of them could be anything to do with the war in the Middle East with Iran. It could be because of the increase of AI, as we discussed in the previous video, and also the fact that literally everyone and their dog has a bloody smartphone. So they can capture many things, but still we want to root out the few videos that are out there that are unexplainable. Does not mean that they are necessarily UFOs or UAPs as they call them now. It just means that they can't be explained, and that's what we're looking for primarily. So before I jump in, like and subscribe to Skywatch TV. These are recent videos. This is 5 or 6 days old, this video, I believe. I tried to go for the more recent ones as opposed to ones that are years old. Yes, the ones that are years old are good because especially before AI, but I want to see what's out there now because some of them we can see are clearly AI. So we want to root these out, get rid of them. Also, please like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. It means I can do more of these videos. I'm doing it for fun. I'm doing it for interest. I'm trying to cover a wide array of different topics, controversies, politics, videos, gaming, music, whatever it may be. Let me know. Please leave a comment. It means a lot. So let's just delve in, shall we?
Today's first sighting comes directly from the NASA Curiosity Photo Archive,
Mars.
a public online database where images captured by the rover on Mars are regularly uploaded and made available for anyone to examine. Among the countless images in the archive, one photo dating back to 2014 revealed something unusual: a saucer-shaped...
Okay, so it's not relatively new. It says that it's 2026, but it's from 2014. But the thing is, I'm always a bit skeptical about these images from Mars because we know for a fact that they are going to go through teams of people if there was anything, and they will edit it out. We've seen it before. They blur it up. But yeah, let's see.
UFO with a small protrusion underneath. Even though the object's shape can be clearly seen, its exact size remains uncertain, as there is no way to determine how close it was to the camera. But here is where it gets interesting. In another photo from the archive dated February 22, 2026, almost 12 years later, the same object appears again above some mountains in the top left corner of the image, although this time a small...
I'm not trying to just debunk everything. I really believe in aliens. I've said it before. I believe they visit us. The issue I have with this is that it's just too crisp. I mean, if you compare it to the rest of the image, which is all blurry, as expected with these videos and photos, this just seems too clear now.
Small dome is visible on top. The only plausible explanation here is that the object may simply be some kind of image artifact,
Probably.
though this theory has never been officially confirmed. But interestingly enough, this wasn't the only unusual discovery in the photo archive. On March 12, 2025, a Reddit user browsing through the images came across a small tic-tac-shaped UFO in one of the photos. The object looked clearly separated from the ground, and a shadow could be seen projected directly beneath it, which made it appear as if it was floating slightly above the terrain. Some speculated that the object was simply part of a rock formation captured from an unusual angle. However, others rejected that explanation, pointing out that the object looked far smoother than any other rock in the image and did not match the rough and irregular shapes typically seen in Martian rocks. Even after all these years, the original photos remain available in the public NASA archive. And despite the attention these images received online, no official explanation or statement about these anomalies was ever released by NASA, leaving both sightings unexplained to this day.
I want to see what the sales of actual Tic Tacs are, since because in the past few years they call them the Tic Tacs, and I want to know the company what their sales are of Tic Tacs. But on a serious note, that's actually quite compelling evidence, because we've seen in recent years a lot to do with Tic Tac UFOs. Is it a government thing? Is it alien? It's become acknowledged. Even podcasters like Joe Rogan have talked about it, and ex-government officials, military officials, Air Force pilots, they've all referred to the Tic Tac. So that's quite compelling. That's that it's a rock formation. It can clearly see that it's standing out. It's either real and we're looking at a genuine thing, or that's just completely manipulated afterwards. Again, the issue I have with it is they release these photos, and I'm sure someone there at NASA or wherever it is, whose job it is to go through these, you'll have someone there, some manager who's like, right, Dave or Jeff or whoever you are, your job is to keep stum and to go through every single picture and photo and video and make sure there is nothing that can come back and bite us in the arse. So to have something that clear slip through, I'd be very surprised, especially nowadays. Okay, this was 2014, the first image, but especially nowadays, it wouldn't just be people going through the images. I'm sure there'd be like AI that would be sifting through it, perhaps. So take it with a pinch of salt.
This next sighting takes us somewhere in Brazil, where a
It's always
UFO
Brazil.
was recorded and later uploaded online, with the earliest known upload dating back to January 27, 2013. There is not much information about this incident, and very little is known about the original witness or the exact circumstances of the recording. In the footage, a saucer-shaped object can be seen hovering in the night sky. Around the outer edge of the object, there appear to be roughly 20 white lights, forming a circular pattern, while a single stronger blue light glows in the center. Because the entire video is recorded in near-complete darkness, it is difficult to estimate the object's size or determine how high it was above the ground. The lack of visible surroundings makes the scene even harder to analyze.
I'm going to say something a bit crazy here. Okay, he said it was from 2013, so I don't know why it's advertising that it's 2026 new. But that's a good thing here, because that's before AI. So we know that this is 99.9% not AI. I've not seen this before, but one thing that strikes close to home for me on this is when I was in the mountains here in Cyprus. I remember, must have been about 20 years ago. God, I'm getting old. I remember we were walking the dogs at night, me and my father. Now, just a bit of context and not to go off on it, my father's a very honourable man, truthful man. He's a bit of an NPC when it comes to these things. He's not necessarily a believer or a non-believer, but he's the sort of guy, the old-fashioned, our parents and generations before, where they rarely talk about these things. They don't really have an opinion. As long as their belly's full, the mortgage is paid and the kids are fed, they don't really care. They get pleased with simple things in life. We were walking the dogs when we saw something very similar to what I'm seeing now, but we saw it for like 10 minutes going slowly over the mountain range towards the sea. It wasn't at this angle, it was more flat, and the lights around it were flashing different colours, multicolored, like amber, yellow, white, blue in the middle as well. So that's very intriguing. That's interesting.
Despite the limited details, some discussion appeared in the comments section where a person claiming to be from the area insisted the sighting was real and said that many people across the city had seen and even filmed the same object.
Well, how come there's no more videos?
On the other hand, another local resident offered a very different explanation, suggesting the object was simply a kite, although the video that supposedly supported this claim has since been deleted. Despite the fact that the footage clearly shows a saucer-shaped UFO, with so little information available about the event and no verifiable evidence confirming any explanation, this sighting remains unexplained to this day.
That would have to be an elaborate kite, something that's not cheap. So that'd be a professional hoax. Like I said, there's hoaxes and then there's just unidentified. So a lot of the time people see things like we see now. People see these weird vapors in the sky, and they tend to be like rocket launchers, missile launchers, whatever, especially if the war going on. That's unexplainable. That's not people hoaxing it. That's just people recording what they see, but they can't explain it. So if this is fake, which is a strong chance, then it means it's an actual hoax. It can't be anything more than that.
On March 8, 2026 in New York City, a witness was stepping outside his house when he looked up and noticed what he first believed was a shooting star moving across the sky. But moments later, 2 additional lights appeared and joined the first one. The witness later explained that he owns a drone and is familiar with how they appear at night, which made him confident that what he was seeing did not look or behave like any drone he had ever used. Confused?
That's not true, though. Let's be honest. I like how he straight away comes out. He's like, I've seen something. It's not a drone, though, because I have a drone. It's like, all right. It's like if someone gets killed and the first person is like, oh, it's not me. I didn't stab them. Who said they were stabbed? Ooh. You know, so drones can do this. We've seen these light shows, especially in China, or New Year's events in Australia, London, where you've seen drone shows and they're all synchronized. And so if they can all synchronize themselves perfectly to create these massive images of like lions and cubes in the sky with hundreds of drones, I'm sure that they can configure 3 of them to move around in a triangular pattern that sort of morphs. I'm sure that can be done. Or even perhaps a light show. Again, I'm not saying it's not real, but it's the old classic, you know, triangular. And especially now in America, they've had a lot of sightings of strange objects in the sky, but it turns out a lot of them are meteors, because once 3i Atlas passed a few months ago, it's left a trail of debris which is hitting certain parts of Earth's atmosphere. 3i Atlas is something I'll go into in the future. I know it's a bit old, but I wanted to give it time to clear our solar system and see exactly what happened. So it could be just that.
He recorded a brief video of the incident, showing 3 luminous orbs maneuvering high in the sky, repeatedly accelerating, slowing down and shifting direction in erratic ways. Some viewers believe the footage shows 3 separate objects moving independently, while others believe it could actually be a single triangular craft turning and shifting in the sky, with each corner producing a light that appears to change position depending on the viewing angle. What makes this sighting even more interesting is the fact that in the comment section of the original post, there were countless reports from people claiming they had seen the exact same object in different parts of the United States, including places like Wisconsin, Ohio, and Colorado. Because of these additional accounts, the sighting quickly drew even more attention, sparking an extensive debate about what the lights could be. Some suggested the lights were simply birds reflecting light in the sky, but the witness said the objects were far too high to be birds. Satellites were also considered unlikely, given the object's sudden changes in speed and direction. The video eventually ends as the lights rush behind a cloud and disappear from view, leaving it unclear how the UFO departed. With several similar reports appearing across the country and no clear conventional explanation, this incident remains unexplained. For today's
Before we move on, do you remember a couple of years ago now? I think it was a couple of years ago, we had the New Jersey UFO incident at the time, and then it turned out to be some drones from a company. But that caused mass hysteria, and to the point that news teams were going out at night and hunting, and everybody was catching footage. And it's the same thing. That was New Jersey, New York, Wisconsin. They're all in the same vicinity, sort of northeast United States. We're not hearing anything from the Canadians. We're not hearing anything from Greenlanders or anything. So it could be actual physical, real things, unexplainable, but it could just be relating to that again. Who knows?
bonus clip, we have a short piece of footage showing a dark saucer-shaped UFO. The problem is that almost nothing is known about this sighting. However, the earliest confirmed upload dates back to July 2018, which rules out the possibility of it being AI-generated. While many people look at this footage with skepticism, others believe it could show a genuine UFO sighting, especially since the object
Yeah, but look, it's got two there. These could be little wheels. This could just be like one of those model airplanes, and they've put a flying saucer, which I remember years ago. I can't remember what I saw it on. It wasn't Mythbusters or anything, but it was that style of program, and they were doing this just to prove how easy it was to hoax something. So I don't know. Again, he's right. It's before AI, so that's a good thing. But again, things like this can be so easily hoaxed. And the flying saucers, I'm not saying that there's no flying saucers or there's no alien craft that are flying saucers, but it's just the easiest one to do. You know, at least with the one we saw earlier, of the lights going around and the woman claimed it was a kite and all that. That's like elaborate. So if you're going to hoax it, it seems like they've put some effort into that. This, to me, just looks like it could be a model aircraft, and this will come down and just land like a model aircraft. But who knows?
It appears to release a small orb from underneath, something that has often been reported in UFO encounters over the last
Just
few
had a
decades.
dump.
As usual with bonus sightings, this one is up to you. Is it real or fake? Let me know in the comments below. But before we move to the next sighting, if you've been enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and it really supports the channel. On February 25th, 2026 in Thatcher, Arizona, a witness recorded strange glowing orbs moving across the night sky and reported being unsure whether they were flares or possibly a satellite, also noting that the same lights appeared again the following night. Around the same period, on February 26th in Casa Grande, Arizona, and again on February 27th in Buffalo, Minnesota, similar objects were seen by other witnesses, suggesting the phenomenon was not limited to a single location. One of the witnesses even stated that they had lived in the area their entire life and had never seen anything like it before. Among the many videos shared online, they all had one thing in common: a row of 3 to 4 bright orbs hovering in the sky. As soon as the first few videos surfaced, many others chimed in, claiming they had also witnessed the same phenomenon around the same time period. This whole series of sightings lasted only a brief period of about 3 days in late February 2026 before completely disappearing. Some people suggested the lights might have been flares launched from a helicopter or
They're not flares, because flares drop further. They're not countermeasures. Of course, witnesses will say, I've been here my whole life and I've never seen anything that looked like that before. Yeah, because that adds, mysticism to the story. But if I look out on our front garden at night and look over about 10-15 kilometers away, we've got a British air base, and it's got a massive antenna. It's probably half the length of a football pitch or a soccer pitch, and that has got 4 red lights that literally simultaneously like pulsate and then stop, pulsate and then stop. And depending on the angle you're from and the way you record it, it could look different. It could be that, and of course, like the person said, "Oh, I've lived here my whole life and I've never noticed that." Yeah, we don't know if that bit's true. It could be that. I'm not saying it isn't. One thing it does tick the box is that it's got mass sightings. Perhaps it's just a new installation, like a radar system, especially with what's been going on now around the world with the war. Not that necessarily Arizona is at threat, but definitely it could be some sort of new listening device, radar, sonar, whatever it may. Not sonar, but something along those lines. Could be a new military installation, perhaps. Because it does look like it's there was the one with the clip, the red 4 lights. It looked like it was moving, but not necessarily, because it was inside a car. And as the car's moving, you can see the buildings moving slowly, and it looks like lights moving. So it's kind of a trick of the eye.
jet during a training exercise, while others argued the objects were moving far too fast for that explanation. Another theory suggested they were police helicopters flying in formation. However, one of the witnesses disagreed, pointing out that there were no helicopter lights, the objects were flying way too low, and there was no sound at all.
What do you mean way too low?
Despite the many similar...
If they are police helicopters, how can you say they're flying too low? If they can literally fly above your house. Again, I've seen that. The air base we have here, especially when the war just started, We were getting helicopters and jets that were so low you could literally see the numbers and the coding on them. So I like how suddenly everyone's an expert. Like, no, it's too low. It can't be. The altitude's wrong. It's like, whoa, you're a pilot now.
Sightings reported online within just a few days, no definitive explanation for these
Here, this
incidents
one.
was ever found.
Looks
And
like
as
it's
of
moving.
the making of this video, the lights have not been seen again.
But it's
if
not necessarily moving. It could be just literally like 20 miles away, 30 kilometers away, and they're going at an angle where it looks like it's moving, but it's actually not. Again, I'm not trying to just debunk every single video. I'm trying to always come up with a reasonable explanation, and there will be more videos, and there's a few special videos I'm coming up with soon that I genuinely have known for years that I just can't explain, and I want to bring it to the attention. But I think the majority of the videos I've covered in these 2 episodes, I think they can be explained.
If you want to see 5 more shocking UFO sightings, click the video appearing on your screen right now.
Yep, do the thing. Go like and subscribe, and also like and subscribe my channel. Don't forget me. That was interesting. It's interesting, although it says that they're new. A few of them are new. I think the most compelling one out of the video is what we see on the screen here, which is this round one that's going round like a rotor, very sort of interstellar style. I think that's the most interesting one out of them. As for the 4 lights, like I said, I believe it's probably just some sort of new military installation. Could be that, or some sort of satellite system that's been put in place. You know, Trump's very much into that sort of thing. You've got Elon Musk and SpaceX. It wouldn't surprise me if it's something along those lines. But I think most of these have been explainable apart from what we're seeing on the screen now. So I'm going to cover a very interesting incident. I think tomorrow or the day after, and it's a few years old, and it's the Miami Mall incident. If you're not aware of it, please watch that video. It's very interesting, very surreal, very unexplainable, very controversial, and there's some good evidence there. Some of it is trash and garbage. Some of it is just out there. But that's a definite good one that I'm going to be covering. That's a specific incident that I will go over. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.